Hey, y'all better recognize I ain't got no problem with the naive Swedish quitter Otto Wallen being a premium oil driller. I'm an active snowplow myself, and snowplows and oil drillers gots to be tight. Also subscribe and like based boxing basement.
Yeah, thanks for that, Kanye. K West, take the red pill, blood. Yes, one of the biggest bums in boxing. One of the biggest bums inside of boxing. None other than son of the gimp, Ricky Hatton. Campbell Hatton was exposed. Well, to be honest, anyone who knows anything about boxing knew he was rubbish. Awful fighter. Fake fighter. I'm sick of people go, oh, well, he's a novice, give him a chance in it. He's rubbish. He can't punch. He holds his giant head, his weird-shaped head. He holds it really high. Yeah. He's impossible to miss. He flaps around with his arm punches. This guy's terrible. Oh, he's just a novice. He had like 30-plus fights in the amateurs. Okay? He had 35 fights. And he's already had, how many fights? He's had 15 fights now as a pro. That's not, that's not a novice. That's intermediate at best. How many fights did Rocky Marciano have? 9 fights as an amateur. Come on, this bum. Hatton, I think Gage only had 42 fights, so at high level. And he's another one go, they said for like 10 years, he's still a novice. He's not a novice. Gage fought at top international level for years, man. Campbell didn't, but he's still a bum. He's the biggest bum inside of boxing. To think, this idiot, he'd already lost a fight, right? He lost a fight to Sonny Martinez in his 4th fight, blatantly. And the corrupt Marcus McDonald gave it to him. And Camp Bellin said, I won that fight. He lost 5 of 6 rounds, you bum. He was so bad. Well done for Jimmy Flint, by the way. The guy who looks like a jihadi convert, right? A white convert that went over to fight for ISIS in Syria. And he came out with a serious tan and a nice lion beard. Yeah, the Jimmy Flint. He looks also, I've seen in the comments, one guy said in a comment to a video that he looked like Abraham Lincoln with his beard. He looks like a very, very low-rent crackhead jihadi version of Abraham Lincoln. But I'm glad he won. And at least they didn't rob him. They sort of tried. There was a few 10-10 rounds, I think, in there. When I heard the scores, I thought they're okay, and they're too wide to go to Hatton. And they didn't rob Flint, thankfully. I thought he won by 7 rounds to 3 or 8 rounds to 2. For what is it? A Central Area title. This bum, Campbell Hatton, right? He said, I thought I nicked it. He's Martinez or whatever. Yeah. He said, fair enough, no excuses, but I thought I did enough to win the fight against Flint. You mug, you arrogant sod. He comes across so arrogant. He never worked a day in his life, right? This is a guy who has elite level training. He can train all day, don't have a job. He doesn't have to turn up and be a mechanic, work in Tesco's. Amateurs, pros at his level, as his skill level, would usually have to do, because he'd be a nobody, boxing on Steve Goodwin undercards, or whatever. And this bum is too arrogant to say. He's lost clearly twice now. He's lucky he was in against non-punchers, and these guys were rocking his huge head. And he's like the white version of Yakub. Campbell, his head. It's like the white version of Yakub. He's got a huge, broad skull. It's like a 1980s TV set, a massive, just solid, square head. But, maybe it enables him to take a punch. He was hurt a few times by a non-puncher, to be honest. And he's impossible to miss, especially with the uppercuts just inside. Bing on the inner chin, bing on the inner chin. That huge head that doesn't move is not a difficult target to connect with. Yeah. And it was always cutting. If you notice, in the DAZN was cutting to Ricky Hatton, the father who wears gimp mask, and he'd tuck anyone in he found in bed with his wife. If you found Camp Bellin, right, in bed with his wife, he'd probably tuck him in as well. Weirdo. Cuck. Weirdo. Simp. Gimp mask wearing guy. That Campbell, his body shots are dangerous, aren't they? If I found Campbell in bed with me missus, I'd tuck him in. What a low life. What a low life. Ricky Hatton is always touching his nose. Me mental health. Maybe it's got to do with all the cocaine you shoveled up your nose, you wrongin'. And the processed food. And the drink. And all sniffing and touches his nose throughout the fight, right? And a freak dressing up in a gimp mask, always making jokes, and he about cuckolding. What a bum, Ricky used to be one of my favourite fighters, you know. His style, his down-to-earthedness. And now he's just a disgusting bum. Making stupid jokes with stupid tattoos. Getting his nose up on, you know. I'm just bored of him, and you know, he must have been ashamed. Even Ricky knows his son's a total bum, right? He can't punch Campbell in. He's always overreaching with punches, missing. He's so easy to hit with uppercuts, with all kinds of shots. His big head against these non-punchers can absorb the shots, but against anyone who can punch him, he's getting flattened, and he's got no power. He's got no power to push the other man off. He's a bum, a total bum. And to think, this idiot, Dmitry Bivol, one of the pound-for-pound boxers in the world, who's now boxing Beterbiev, Artur Beterbiev, on June the 1st, was the preliminary bout, the walking bout for Campbell Hatton. You remember? This is when Adam Smith was still there. When blue moon's coming on and the hairs on the back of your head are standing up, aren't they, Matthew? It's just like his dad, Ricky, who I made best man at my wedding, and 2 weeks later I sacked him. What a scumbag Adam Smith is too, yeah? And I think, you know, Matthew Hatton, a lot of people say he's a terrible coach. He's a terrible coach. Well, he hasn't got a lot to work with, number one. He's got a complete bum. And there's a part of me that thinks, you know, Matthew's a bit jealous of Ricky Hatton because Ricky got all the adulation, you know. He got the big money. I mean, Matthew would have got a bit. You remember he fought to win the distance with Canelo Alvarez, right? Right? But, you know, there's a part of him that's bitter because Ricky was the better fighter, more popular, with a better punch. But Matthew's got the better chin, strangely enough, Matthew Hatton. Even though he looks like some, I don't know, experiment that's never seen the light. You know, he looks like he's never been out in the light. And he's lost all his hair. He's a weird-looking guy, too. That family are ugly. Yeah, but there's a thought in my head, yeah. That Matthew is secretly very jealous of Ricky Hatton, right? With his big house and his money and all that, and his adulation, yeah. And he's got his bum son under his training. He thinks, well, you know, I'm going to get my revenge. I'm going to get his son beaten up by giving him terrible advice in the rounds. And I understand that, you know. But he's such a bum anyway. It doesn't matter what kind of advice you give a guy as bad as Campbell in the ring, he's going to get chinned anyway by anyone decent. I mean, if this guy Jimmy Flint, Sonny Martinez, and a bunch of these other guys could actually punch a bit, and notice he's never fought a puncher, or even close to a puncher, he'd be getting flatlined. His big head would hit the canvas, boom, like that, hard, like a conker falling from a tree, bam, bam. That's the end of Campbell, and that's what we want to see. You know, he's bragging, hey, I'll be back. No one wants to see you back. No one cares about your rubbish career. You're a bum. You can't fight. Despite all the advantage you've got over every other young pro who's not known. And you've got it all. You've been given it all, and still you're a bum. Training all day, supplements, proper food, nutrition. Devoted 100% the pro game, but you still can't fight, you bum. Even Emperor Michael would have a chance with Campbell and Hunt. Well, maybe not. It'd be two non-punchers flailing away. But there you go. And I'd be upset Campbell, and he should retire because he's a bum. But if he leaves boxing without getting flattened, which is exactly what's going to happen if he fights anyone with a punch, then I'll be very disappointed because I want to see that huge 80s TV star head, the white version of Yakub, that conker head, bomb, drop hard on the canvas, right? And let's not forget this. Let's not forget this about Campbell.
So who's got the best jab? For me, Muhammad Ali, unquestionably.
Triple G's got the best jab.
Klitschko had a very good jab.
Larry Holmes, there's no telling it.
Katie Taylor.
AJ's got a great jab too.
Who's got the best jab?
Mayweather's got the best jab.
I don't like Mayweather's jab, to be honest with you.
Could have fooled me, he had enough of them.
It opens the door, it sets your attacks up.
And you can distract your opponent, and it also keeps you safe.
And you know what they say about the jab? The jab takes you around the world.
Now, there's some great jabs there. But you know what? The NHS have got a pretty good jab too.
The jab gets you out of trouble, and that's what this jab's going to do to all of us, isn't it? Get us out of trouble.
Vaccines are helping us get back to enjoying boxing just how we used to.
Fans in the arena again. Sweet Caroline. It's going to be special.
If it's going to help me see my family, it's a no-brainer.
This one I'll definitely be getting.
Over half the population have now had the jab. My old man's had the jab. I'm about to get the jab. And if it means returning to normality, it's an absolute must.
Yep, they did. They did. And you know what? They can jump in a lake. All of them are wrong and complicit in the fraud. I love the and Campbell. I thought you liked the jab. Mayweather couldn't miss you, could he, Ricky? Oh, I hated Mayweather's jab. What lovely banter between those two mugs, pushing people to poison their bodies and their children's bodies. Scumbags. So yeah, that's why I've got no guilt in saying I want to see the Campbell flattened in style. In style. Yeah. Probably have to go out on a stretcher. What about that? That's what he deserves, a scumbag. Anyway, peace in the Middle East. Stay red-pilled.